Hey guys, we're here with part 3 of the rebuild for the 4777-2 little 650 Holley double pumper. Now y'all seen we done little modifications on the bore here beneath the Ventura. We're going to start off with the gasket. We're going to start off, we matched up the gasket and all our holes are matching up. See, there's the idle circuit, there's a transfer slot. Both those holes are open on both sides, right here. And we got to look at our power valve vacuum feed, which is right there. So that's open. One in the back, if it was using that, it would be open, but it's not using that one. Okay, now just real quick, here's what happens most of the time when people rebuild. They don't really watch their gasket, even though you can tell this gasket's too big, but they don't watch it. You see what just got closed off? Look right here and here. You have no idle circuit anymore because you just blocked it off. I've seen that a pile of times. So when you crank it up, it just cuts right back off at idle. Will not stay idling. Just to let you know, that's just an easy thing. Make sure all your holes match up. Most of the time they have power valve holes on both sides of the gasket, but there are some out there that only has it on one side. So if you flipped it over and it only had it, this was the only side that was open and these were closed, you wouldn't have no power valve vacuum. So always check that. There's power valve. There's the idle circuit, there's a transfer slot, and it's on the same side here, idle circuit, transfer slot. And this is the primary side, which I've got it turned for y'all. And then on the rear, all we got is a transfer slot, because it's not a 4-corner idle circuit. All right, we're going to slip this on the metering plate. I want to get this back up here where you guys can see it. I'm all fingers tonight, but let's see if we can get this done. Those pins are fitting really tight on that gasket. All right, so we see all our gasket holes are lined up. Everything's open, both sides, so we're good there. So we're going to come along here, and we're going to turn this around the right way. And we're going to, if I can see how to get this thing lined up, we're going to set it right down on top of it. Turn it upside down. Now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 screws, but we're only going to use 6 of them. And I'll explain to you the reason why. Even Holley does this almost all the time. I haven't seen anything come out with the middle bolts in there. The reason why is because when you put this gasket on there, you lay it on there and get it lined up, look what can come out. And I mean, it can fall out. It'll line up just about dead on the edge. And if these screws ever came out, they'd fall right down in your motor. And that'd be the end of that. It'd be catastrophic failure. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get these all tightened up. If you do want, for some reason, you want to use them really bad, make sure you put some good Loctite on the threads. I mean, good, and make sure it's tight. I don't recommend using them, but that's totally up to you. So we're going to use 6 screws. And I'm going to leave them just a hair loose. Just enough where if I need to move the throttle plate just a fraction. But there's not much moving with the pins. They're in there so snug to start with. It probably won't move at all. I've had to take pins off before, the alignment pins, to be able to get the carburetor to line up with the bores correctly. You look in there and that looks pretty doggone good, just like it's setting. Can they see it?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead, lean it over, tighten them on up. All right. Yeah, that looks excellent. I'm happy with that. All right, guys. We pinned all our bleed holes. We took pins in there and stuck them in there, made sure they were clean. Blew through these holes. Let me just show you for a quick instant. This ain't carburetor cleaner, but you're going to see fuel come out of this outer bleed. Then I'm going to shoot some through the actual booster. Well, this little tube will stay in there. Can you see that?
Yep.
All right. Then the inner one is your high speed. See that? That's what I'm doing. I don't want to do it with every one of them guys because it takes a while. But that's what you want to see. You want to know that those holes are clear. Because it affects the running of the motor. It affects the carburetor running efficient or not big time. And what it'll do when they block off, usually it's going to run rich. Whatever circuit it is, it's going to run richer than it normally does. Okay. All right. The next thing we're going to do, let's go ahead and put our needling seats in. I add just a little bit of a solution. It's just a little bit of oil with a little bit of synthetic additive. My hand's shaking like a 90-year-old man, guys. Y'all hang in there with me. I'm getting old. Here we go. I'll wrap it around and I'm going to stick it in the bowls. And I'm going to just bring it down and just start screwing it in. All right, get it in there a little ways. I'm going to set my gasket. Let me put this out of the way where we can get a good clear shot. Put the first big gasket down. Then I'm going to grab my little nut and I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to watch my float level. And what I'm after, let me see, I'm going to get it set here for you. I'm after with the brass floats, I'm after the center of this float. See the seam? I want it at the bottom of this plug. And that's about a perfect place to start. It's really going to be close. A lot of times I don't even have to touch them after I fire them up. Okay, so you want to move that thing up and down, but you want to get it back till you're right about there. And that's a good start place. Now we're going to bring our screw with our gasket. That's our small gasket now. The little small one, and slide it on top. And spin it on there. Now where it's at, I'm going to go ahead and tighten it up because, like I say, usually I don't have to go back and change it. They're awful close. Every now and then you might. All right, good snug. There it is. All right, let's go ahead and do the other bowl real quick. I got some lubricant on this needling seat. If you ever feel that needle valve not wanting to go in there, stop right there and look at that little bevel that I've been telling you about, because when it goes, it's bad, it's bad. It really is. I'm going to go ahead and stick the nut on there. Usually I do it this way. I didn't show them the way actually I normally do it. I just leave it a little loose. I turn it upside down. And I bring it right about to there. So, there we go, guys. And make sure your float's nice and free. And make sure your floats don't have no hole in them. So, you want to definitely take the time to, I actually set something lightly that's heavy enough to keep mine submerged for about a day, just to make sure there's no holes in the seam where they've soldered it. And there we go. We're through with that one. Okay. Now somebody asked about the power valve on a comment. I'm just going to cover that real quick. Now, if we had, let's say this was this is a secondary and it already has the power valve blocked off. What Holley does, when it's already blocked off, they just up the jet size. If it would normally run 67 with a power valve, then they'll add usually 8 to that, and they'll run a 75, possibly a 76 jet. So you're just straight jetting it. In other words, the power valve in the rear is just like the front, except for when you cut in the secondaries, the vacuum drops, power valve opens, and enriches the mixture while you're under acceleration. So it's the same thing. So you're not going to run around on the secondaries open all the time unless you're just a maniac. I mean, maybe me when I was 18, I was kind of like that. But it'll get you, it ain't going to change the mileage much, because when you cut the secondaries in, if you had them running down the road in, you'd be running 80 miles an hour or above, probably to keep, have the secondaries in. You wouldn't do that. So all they do, instead of having the having this power valve here, which would be this right here going in here, we'll put a power valve block off, and all it does is block these two little ports off where they can't get no fuel.
Let me get a close up of that.
Here, let me see that good. These two little ports right there and right there. Okay? Mm-hmm. All right. And all they would do was just take the power valve out of the rear, and they would put this power valve block off. It's just a block off. It's nothing to it. Use the gasket just like you normally would. And then, if this was let's say it's a 67, I'm going to add at least 8 sizes to it, which would be a 75 in the rear. Just come up 8 sizes on the jets, and it'll be the same. It won't make much difference in your fuel mileage, really. It really doesn't. Okay. I do it on the secondaries almost always because the fuel on the front of the bowl, on the front of the carburetor right here, when you accelerate, it runs towards the jets. It runs right towards jets, but the back runs away from the jets. And the power valve is actually, let me stick this power valve in there and I'll show you what I'm talking about. The power valve actually is above the jets. In other words, if you had a car that hooked hard enough and accelerated hard enough, when the fuel, here's this rear bowl, it's sitting here like this. When the fuel starts running away, running towards the back of the bowl, as long as the jets are, covered with fuel, you're good. And we can even put jet extensions in here to add them, get them out further. But the power valve, you can't. And it pulls fuel right around where the spring area is. So it sets a little above the jet. If it starves for fuel, even at the top, it's going to starve the jet because it's going to be sucking air, not fuel. So that's the main reason I take them out and always jet them up on the secondary side, because it's a lot safer. Now, if you're just an everyday driver guy, you hit it every now and then, leave your power valve in the rear. There's no reason, that you have to take it out. All right, I'm going to tighten this up, 1-inch wrench. Make sure my gasket's even all the way around. And don't go crazy with it. Just kind of like that. I choke up on the wrench like that. It makes me feel like I'm tightening more than I am. And it's not that tight, but just good and snug on it. And if you want to see if it's working, put your finger on it like that while you got it pushed down. Did you hear that pop? It's holding vacuum. So I know the diaphragm's good. Each time I do that, I know the diaphragm's good. Okay. This is a 65 power valve. That's a typical good power valve. He's going to have a real mild cam in there. 65 is probably plenty. Well, I know it is plenty because he's probably going to run still around 13, 14 inches of vacuum. Okay, so here we go, guys. Let's put the gaskets on. Remember we had the problem with this one before, with this gasket, because it didn't encapsulate the actual accelerator pump. Here's where the pump comes out. It was wide open. It was just spraying the fuel inside the carburetor where the power valve area was. Okay, and we'll put one right here. Make sure this is going to hold our... I didn't have 2 of these quick fuel vents. I like these quick fuel vents, and the gasket actually keeps it in place. All right, that's ready to go. We'll do the other one real quick. I've changed the jets on it. I've got the right jets in it. I've actually jetted it up just a hair from where it should be, because this carburetor does not have a choke, and we want him to have a fairly decent cold drive away. I know I put that on backwards. All right, guys. There's our 2 meter blocks. And let's see here. We got these in. Let's go ahead and stick our pumps in. You know what? I don't know if I shouldn't just do a fourth part here and let the guys see every little thing I'm doing.
Probably be a good idea.
Look, guys, I'm gonna stop right here, and I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm just doing it because I want it. There's some more things I want to show you, and let me get one of these pumps in real quick for you. Now, these is the one that's got the ball check. We got a spring. And we got the housing that we smoothed down. Whoop, knocked it off. And 4 little screws, and that's pretty much the whole deal to it. And just make sure you get it on correct. Just like so. The reason I'm slowing down on some of these is I want you to be able to see. I won't cover everything because I'll forget. But I'll keep going back until I'll try to give you all my information and the best way of doing things. This makes a lot of difference here because you don't have to tighten this pump down so hard to strip these screws out. And that makes a big deal. And where you tell these pumps are right, after you get through with it, stick your ear right up close there and move your pump. You'll hear it squirting the air. If it ain't blowing air out in your ear, there's something wrong. Just go back and look at it. Either the check ain't holding or something's wrong. Or you got a restriction, but I've blew through every one of these and it's coming out really good. Well, let's stop right there, guys. We'll finish up the other bowl and we'll assemble it. And then I'll show you the rest of the adjustments. Like make sure we have pump clearance at wide open throttle, different things I'm going to show you. And then we'll do the initial adjustment and we'll finish it up on part 4. Thank you guys. I sure appreciate it. I hope you'll like, comment, and subscribe, and we appreciate it.